I thank God for this day, and I also thank Him for you. Today we are going to look at learning to say no. Learning to say no. Saying no is quite important. Warren Buffett says this: when you have a choice, it is much more important to know how to say no than yes. It's much more important to learn to know how to say no than yes. And one of the things that we need to be very keen on in our lives, especially once you have set up your goals, because each and every one of us needs to have goals. I highly recommend, if you desire to succeed, you need to have a goal and a vision that you've written down, and you constantly review it. And we not only need to have goals, we need to have, I'm not talking about goals today, but we need to have yearly goals, monthly goals, and daily goals. It's quite important. So those are one of the things. And once you have your goal oriented, that means you have placed timelines on your goals. You begin to be focused on achieving them. You become focused on achieving them. And one of the things that usually come to get us off route and to make us deviate from our goals and deviate from our purpose and from fulfilling our potential and abilities, maximizing them, is what looks like opportunities. It's either opportunities or temptations. Opportunities or temptations. Both of these can come to deviate you from the things that we have just talked about right now. And so it is very important for each and every one of us to learn to say no. I've met several successful people, and one of the greatest things I've noticed about them, that they know, and it's very easy for them to tell you no if whatever they think you're proposing is not suitable to them. It's very easy for them to say no, and that is what gives them an upper hand. And Warren Buffett is one of the best investors in our time, and one of the things he says, that it is very important to learn how to say no. To learn how to say no. Steve Jobs, the Apple guy, said people think that focus means saying yes to things. You have got to say no. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to hundreds of other good ideas. It's saying no to hundreds of other good ideas. He also said that success is not how much opportunities we've said yes to, but how many we have also said no to. I know poverty simply means, the acronym for poverty means passing over opportunities repeatedly. When you are not able to see the opportunities, especially the right opportunities, and focus on the right opportunity. There are all types of distractions, both good and bad distractions, that will try to derail you from the track that you are going to. And if you're not careful, you'll be easily derailed with both good and bad opportunities. So it's very important for us to be focused. As Steve Jobs says, people think that focus means to say yes to the things they have got to say to get to focus on. So to the things they have got to focus on. But that's not what it means at all. It means saying no to the hundred of other good opportunities. That means you have to learn to say no both to the bad and also to the good. Because at times the good can hinder you from fulfilling your goals and your purposes. This is what the scripture says in the book of Titus chapter 2. Titus chapter 2 and verses 11. For the grace of God that brings salvation has appeared to all men. It teaches us to say no to ungodly, worthless passions and to live a self-controlled, upright, godly life in this present age. In this present age, the grace of God enables us to say no to the things that have just been read there. I was listening to something this morning, and Idaosa, the late Archbishop Idaosa, said that when he was in ministry, there was a time he was really struggling and the finances were not like coming up. So he went to see his mentor or his spiritual father, that is T.L. Osborne. So when he went to the States, they reached there, and after staying there for some days, T.L. Osborne told them, come, I want to take you to see some few things around town. And when they got into the car, T.L. Osborne told them, I want to buy for you a house. And by that time, Idaosa says that they did whatever they were living in as a house was a very small small place. And so T.L. Osborne told them, I want to take you to a house. So I'm going to take you to 3 places. I'm going to take you to a very decent neighborhood. Then I'm going to take you to a slightly affluent neighborhood. Then I'm going to take you to a very affluent neighborhood. So they started off. So they didn't know which neighborhood they would go to first. They did not know if they would go to the affluent or which neighborhood they would go to first. So they went to the first house. It was a 4-bedroomed house, looked very beautiful. And when Idaosa got there, he said, okay, now this is it. He lifted up his hands and he said, this is the house. This is the house, man of God. Yes, you can buy for us this. T.L. Osborne told him, wait first. Let's go to the next one. So they went to the next house. And when they reached the house was bigger. It had more rooms, and it had a swimming pool in the back. Now, they said, forget about the other one. Now, this is the house. This is the house, and they were excited about the house. It also told them, T.L. Osborne told them, wait first. Let's see all the 3 houses. So they went to the next house. And this house, they went through a hill, and the houses were spaced out. It was not like one house. So they went through a hill and they went down a hill. And when they reached the house, he said that the signboard alone that was saying house for sale was more expensive, could actually buy him. That's according to him. So they entered into the house. The gate opened by itself, and this is in the 70s. The gate opened by itself, and Idaosa was amazed at what they were seeing. And they got to the house, and it had 3 living rooms. When they got there, and the wife saw this, and they were told, yes, if we'll be able to buy for you this, but you'll have to pay it back slowly. Now he asked T.L. Osborne, how much is it? He was told it is $1.3 million. Idaosa started scratching his head, and he said, but T.L. Osborne, before he said anything, T.L. Osborne told him, don't worry, we'll pay for it. You just need to take it and we'll see how you pay it off later on. And that was it. So the wife started praying in tongues, thanking God, and Idaosa also started praying in tongues, thanking God, and they were praising God all the way. And after that, they left the place, and they were excited. They were already seeing where their beds will be, which room they would take, how they'll furnish the house. And that night, as they were sleeping, Idaosa woke up, and he began his time with the Lord. And the Lord began to speak to him, and the Lord told him not to take the house. And Idaosa began to bind. I bind this wicked voice. This is not the voice of God. I bind it. And he said, I silence you. And God told him, are you finished? Once he had finished his binding, and he said, okay, yes. And now I want you to take your things and leave this country, and I will bless you wherever, when you go back home. So Idaosa told his wife, baby, wake up. God has told me to leave the house and everything. The wife told him, he has not spoken to me. Tell him to speak to me. Tell him to speak to me. Idaosa didn't know what to do. So he went to the Osborns. It was in the middle of the night. He went to the Osborns and knocked at their door, their room, and told them that, hey, they called out and said, is everything all right? He said, yes, but the Lord has told me that I do not need to take the house. I do not need to take the house. So I'm not going to take it, and I need to leave right now, or the Lord has told me that he will kill me. And that is how it was. The Osborns told him, it's okay, just sleep. We'll talk about it in the morning. So before 5, he called a taxi. And when he was waiting for the taxi to come, he stood there waiting for the taxi. By around 6, the taxi came. He got into it and went to the airport and went back home. And he said that was the best decision. He called his wife when he was in New York and told him, honey, are you still alive? Has the Lord killed you? No, he said, no, he's not killed me. Then he said, okay, give me T.L. Osborne. And T.L. Osborne talked to him and said, after all you've seen, if you can leave everything in obedience to God, after all you've seen, then what God is going to do in your life is going to amaze many. And the man went back to Nigeria. And indeed, what God did in his life, he said that the house that he saw, the big house, after some years, the big house was like one of his guest houses in his compound. So it's very important for us to be able to listen and be able to say no. At times it may look like a very good deal, $1 million deal, like the one that was presented to the late Archbishop Benson Idaosa. But at times it's very important for us to be able to discern and to be able to look keenly if this is the opportunity that we need to take. For the grace of God enables us to say no, not only to the good things, but also to the bad things. Not, as Steve Jobs says, even the good ideas. And now the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you.